Our matches continue as we move into match number 3 tonight of RUlette versus I Love Lamp. Great tanks so far, Randall. Really enjoying these series.
Yeah, examples of phenomenal play. I think that there are minimal mistakes tonight. A lot of these teams showing their practice and their preparation for these matches and their opponents.
And when the doom looms closer, San Francisco happening March 15th, they know we've got to get these wins, guys. $171,000 is waiting for us at the end of this road. We got to stick to our guns and do our best. And one of those teams has been RUlette. We're going to check in with them in just a little bit. But as a reminder, please follow us on Twitter at WGLNA, Facebook.com/WGLNA. Make sure to use that hashtag so we can find your tweets and put them up on the broadcast.
And then, of course, question of the day. Every broadcast we have one. It is what tank best embodies your favorite team and why? Be taking those tweets. Don't forget the hashtag WGLNA and at WGLNA. Two very important parts so we can find those and throw them up on the broadcast.
I'd love to see what some people had to say about Simp and the Cunninghams and also for RUlette and I Love Lamp. Well, the face-off is ready. We just have Master Putin with us tonight from RUlette. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
First of all, tell us about this tournament and your travels over in China.
Yeah, we had this tournament. Didn't get as good of a result as we wanted, but it was a good experience, and we're kind of happy to be back and continue the season.
What kind of teams did you face in the tournament?
We faced a couple Chinese teams, and then we faced a team from Europe. GG. Good game, well played.
Okay. How do you feel the gameplay was over there? I know we have the American play style in the U.S. region, but how was all of that mixed together? Every region playing against each other.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was surprised by the aggressiveness of the Chinese in some instances. I think they knew that they were outskilled and played fairly aggressive.
Would it be likened to the way PvP was in the Global Grand Finals?
Yeah, that would be a good one to compare that with.
All right. Well, good to see you, Master Putin. Good to have RUlette back. Anything you'd like to say to your fans that are watching tonight?
Thank you for watching.
All right. Well, thank you for playing. We'll see you on the battlefield. Always good to see Master Putin. Very chill guy, but when they win, definitely very excited, which his team known as #RU last season was able to win the entire season, but because a number of team members had to commit themselves to other of life's activities, mostly education, they had to get a bit of a roster change and also a rebranding of their teams. They're going by RUlette now. Morovanka will be the first map between these two teams. And real quickly, Randall, let me remind everybody, please place your bets. You can bet at the beginning of every single battle. If you need any help, ask the people in chat. Badco is standing by. Shout out to Badco. Oh, great guy. And you want to check out how you're doing with your points at WGLConnect.com. Top performers have a chance to take home a nice little prize tonight, so make sure to place your bets.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about RUlette, the team that just came back. We had a chance to discuss it a little bit earlier, but RUlette's coming back from a complete absence for a few weeks from the league. They did not get a chance to practice against a lot of these teams while they were overseas, I assume. They did get the opportunity to experience other teams' play styles and take something from that, but whether or not they benefited or they found themselves behind everyone in this league and behind this meta, we'll have to find out as they are going to be getting into battle number 1.
And what links these two teams right now is the last match that RUlette had weeks ago was Fun Gaming, victory. Last match that I Love Lamp had, Fun Gaming, victory. So now these two teams are squaring off in battle number 1. And match number 3 tonight on Morovanka. What do we have for tanks, Randall?
Well, it looks like RUlette's going to start this one with a T-32 Pershing and two 1390s, two RU-251s, and they'll be bringing Topolim in an AMX-12T, which they are one of the only teams in the league to experiment with that. On the other side, Lamp is going to have the two T-32s, a Pershing, a T-69, making for 2 heavies and 2 mediums, and 3 light tanks, 2 RU-251s, and a 5916. So they are very heavy. This is a strat we've seen before. They'll attack the northwest, and it's going to be very important that RUlette is able to hold off that aggression.
Movement from the attacking team, the blue team. heading towards straight south, while Baby Halo will scout more of the magical forest. That's what Murovanka means, correct?
No, it doesn't mean magical forest. It's nicknamed magical forest because in the past, it's been known that the number of trees on the east side of the map were so dense that you could fire from within, and whereas on many other maps you would be spotted, there were so many trees that the camo value was insane and you would not get spotted. Because even though in a radius around you there's no camo after firing as a part of the game, there's so many more trees beyond that that there's still camo between you and your enemy. And with spotting, you're able to fire from complete safety. Now that's been altered a little bit now, so that there's rows of trees and more deep in the forest, it's less dense.
Akiyama takes 2 shots to the left here. Those were not coming from the dense forest. They were coming from Toplum to the south, past the flag cap.
But that's why it's called the Magical Forest. It's a little bit of a joke.
It's a good little nickname for Murovanka. We'll have to ask our expert Soviet exactly what it means.
Well, Murovanka is also a place of very famous tank engagements.
Same with Prohorovka.
Precisely, exactly. Actually, many of the maps in World of Tanks are modeled after various different areas where there have been, and then some, of course, based off the Americas, which have not seen tank-on-tank combat, where we're just kind of experimenting with that terrain.
Invade pushing a little bit to the south here from I Love Lamp. Aggressor has been peppered a little bit with 1 hit, but not too much damage done.
Toplum firing from a bush is actually, finally taking fire. Not spotted yet, by the way, but Baby Halo is approaching, and once he's there, I expect Toplum will be spotted and taken down shortly. With that, that will represent vision in the east and the east side cap gone, and control going to I Love Lamp. They can then continue their slow play and try and find the next tank that is exposed and focus fire that. Baby Halo looking for Toplum, but
still with a scout. Fight Breast Cancer is hanging back in the Delta 1 section of the map, checking in his viewpoint of which way he's directing himself. It looks like he's positioning, just right into the bush here, but looking straight south and then slightly angled his turret towards south by southeast position here. But what's intriguingly dangerous, I should say, about his position is that he's so far away from the engagement that if RUlette was to know that later on in the brawl, that they could take advantage. But I'm sure once I Love Lamp begins to fight as the attackers, that would not be the case.
And a lot of tanks are getting spotted. I think this indicates that we're going to be seeing aggression soon. I think Toplum will go down, and that might cue I Love Lamp to push. Or RUlette might be able to find some kind of a kill, recognize what they have, and go for it. Akula, 5, shifting over to the southeast, weakens the position in the north. But if he holds about midway, where he has his own angle, firing on Valera, we'll see how this is able to unfold. It depends a lot on these connections, and based on the very precise positioning from these players.
Time continues to tick away for the attackers as Baby Skittles has hit for 1 on his side, and now these 4 tanks from I Love Lamp are starting to inch closer and closer to the defensive position of RUlette. Valera will spot them first. Toplum does have 5 shots ready to go, and Valera is able to dodge a number of shots as Baby Skittles gets lit up from 2 flanks.
509 damage. That's enough to force him to back off and also give RUlette a tiny bit.
Baby Skittles hit again. 504. He is very low, and Consequences trying to fire back. A little bit of blind fire coming from him towards York Molo.
And there, Valera finally goes for an engagement, bounces on Aggressor's front. That T-69 has such crazy armor. There are angles that just bounce anything.
Yeah, it's a fun tank to play when you watch your enemy's shells bounce off your turret in different angles. There goes Baby Halo.
Yep, that represents I Love Lamp's ability to both pressure the cap and start this engagement. I think they were really hoping for that, but not able to accomplish it today.
Toplum falls.
Aggressor is taking fire as well. Yurkomolo has a great position behind soft cover.
He's
and
really lining him up. And 1 more shot, and it doesn't hit. Waiting for the reload. Aggressor pushes forward, dances back and forth. Yurkomolo not able to get another one.
He cannot see Aggressor. Aggressor is not spotted. It's blind fire. He's just going to continue trying to look for that.
He hits Invade, though. And there goes Aggressor, and Invading Consequences will push, followed by Breast Cancer, who is in the fight. And they get 2-3 shots connected against RUlette, but on 3 separate tanks. And Az and York are able to continue to volley into consequences here.
And here it comes. Game is rigged, moves up just as Baby Skittles goes down. That 1390 is spotted, but could come in on the flank and just start cleaning up these heavy tanks that are so low. Or perhaps Fight Breast Cancer is a better target.
Game is rigged, decides to hit Fight Breast Cancer first. Super low. Master Putin has one shot left, and no, he doesn't get the connection. Game is rigged, continues to fire, takes down Fight Breast Cancer, Invade falls, and that's it. RUlette has one tank left to destroy to get a battle victory, and that's Akula down to the south. York is able to see him first, and Az is pushing in.
It is, he's trying, but not a lot of hit points. One shell left, juking around. Az, I think, is going to be able to pick this one up with maybe a ram.
And he gets it. RUlette successfully defends in battle number 1 on Merovanka.
Not bad. It was a solid defensive position. I would have expected I Love Lamp to just start a push maybe and just go in because they had so much heavier of a lineup. But after a while, they start taking damage before getting into that engagement. They're at like 3,000, 4,000 hit points, while RUlette is mostly healthy. Yeah, they do lose Topplim, but Topplim was a 12T. He's not there to tank damage or be in the fight so much as be the passive scout and represent some kind of control over a portion of the map, which is very difficult to defend.
But that defense has to be difficult on both sides, right? So when we start out, the defender position on Merovanka, using the hills, using the southern approach, making the enemy come to them, great.
Yes.
Very, very effective tactic. What happens when it flips is kind of what goes through my mind. Okay, RUlette, you did it once, you can maybe do it twice, but can you push through? And that's, I think, what every team has go through their mind at the beginning of every match. Obviously, what happens in the first battle, you hold on to some strategies, you dismiss others in that scenario, but how do they break it? Who scouts? Where do they engage from? Are they utilizing the terrain well enough? I mean, to me, that would be going through my mind as a commander.
Yes, and we can also look at the option for artillery, which has been explored by teams like Fun Gaming on the attack, has seen some success. There's lighter, faster lineups you could try, but a team that understands how to defend Merovanka very well will be able to adjust very well, and I think that's what it is. You have a very small area in the bottom corner of the map, and you attempt to work around what your opponent's bringing. They're going to throw some pressure in different areas, and you simply have to just move. Kind of, I mean, I'll throw like water.
See?
It's
it makes sense,
It's so
right?
easy to use.
I know.
It's so applicable.
But in the great master Bruce Lee was so poignant and profound and yet simplistic in the way that he would describe it, that it stuck with me all this time from being a little kid doing martial arts for many years, that I can see it in the strategy, even in World of Tanks, of how it's used.
It's also really useful in quizzes at Kamanides down the road.
Yeah?
Yeah. Got one right because the moves like water.
All right, good to know. Battle number 2 between RUlette and I Love Lamp is about to begin. What do we have for tanks?
Looks like T-32, Pershing, 2 1390s, 2 RU-251s as Yerkmolo is loading in late to the game. Topplim, AMX-12T for, that's a standard RUlette lineup. On the other side, Lamp is bringing something, an E25. Okay, this is a first. Pershing T69, single 1390. That's played by Invade, by the way, who is new to I Love Lamp. Watch out for him. He's coming over from top tier. 2 RU-251s, E25 by Baby Halo. That's something I'm gonna have to see if it works or not, because that is a tiny tank. It has a few hit points, but we shall see.
Moving from I Love Lamp here through the magical forest. I was commenting on watching the majestic tank from Baby Halo cruising across the plains there.
Isn't it just adorable, actually?
Yeah.
It's not scary.
Oh, okay, careful, Invade, careful.
He takes damage, but not Baby Halo.
Anyway, our production crew loves it when we have excellent camera angles, so we were commenting on that a little bit as I Love Lamp has pushed down to the south here. 2 tanks have been spotted. That's Ex-Soldier and Baby Halo in his little turtle tank.
Looks like a turtle to you?
A box turtle.
A box turtle. I can see that.
A very boxy box turtle.
A box turtle with, like, who has a weird neck, and so his head hangs off to the right a little bit, and it makes you feel sorry for him. You see it? The turret's like slightly outside?
It's slightly over there. Reminds me of the M3 Lee.
Oh, yeah, but don't talk about the M3 Lee.
Oh, I know the struggle. The struggle was real trying to unlock the M4 Sherman.
Anyone who's gone through the M3 Lee, we all know the struggle. It's a hard life.
Fight Breast Cancer is the only tank that has taken damage here between both teams. Looking at X-Soldier, who's moving up behind Baby Halo, a lot more of eastern towards the flag cap viewpoint coming from RUlette. The setup is more from the east into the west here.
And now, long-range fire back and forth. Very few connections for the next few minutes until Aggressor could start taking damage. Let's see where he is now. He's in proper cover. X-Soldier, Fight Breast Cancer, also getting himself spotted. But there's no real angles except for, surprise, Yurkamolo has made his way up to the north. If he can start getting an angle on some RUlette players...
Breast Cancer hit for 250.
They could start getting the damage out and kind of taking away RUlette's ability to make more aggressive motions.
We'll head over to Aggressor and Fight Breast Cancer here. Akula is going to be covering behind him, but Yurkamolo is way to the north, scouting for any straggling tanks, perhaps, from RUlette, as the attackers are looking for an opening. Any type of peeling away of hit points against any of these tanks from RUlette to make it easier for them to push up for a brawl is what they're looking at with this long-range fire and blind fire.
And what's wonderful is Toplum has knocked over some trees, and I don't think RUlette noticed. That's the important indicator of where this light tank is. There's a number of bushes he can sit passive and not get spotted until you are within 50 meters. You will have to be within passive spotting range, where no tank can stay invisible. Toplum has found a position where RUlette just hasn't guessed yet. They're guessing further back, less aggressive positions, but Toplum actually managed to make it rather far east before having to stop. And because of that, he's going to keep numerous tanks from RUlette spotted so that when they pop up and expose themselves, they'll start taking fire.
Consequences moving closer.
Oh, Invade. He's moving in. They're within 50 meters. Toplum is spotted, and that 12T is going to start taking damage, but Invade is tracked in the open, and he will start taking damage, paying for that.
And they'll continue to fire, but will they land all their shots? They miss one. Invade gets hit again.
Two. I saw 2 shells crisscross right behind his turret.
Look at the continual fire, though, coming past Invade towards Aggressor as X-Soldier tries to return fire. That shot does not connect. And Aggressor's going to hang behind the house going, wait a second, guys. Wait a second. We need to realign here and find out where the rest of RUlette are, while Baby Halo and Akula will put their tanks on the flag cap.
And there's one member of RUlette who's behind enemy lines right now.
That's Yurkamolo. Yurkamolo could find out all the secrets of RUlette and their positions here, and he's inching closer and closer. He can get a solid reset as well, if necessary, especially if these tanks are focused towards the west and he approaches from the east. He's lining up a shot, and Akula gets hit.
And there's a shot into Invade. Putin taking him down. Good focus fire there from alternate angles. And now Yurkamolo is in a position where he's going to be able to punish members of RUlette who can't afford to turn around and deal with him.
Akula and X-Soldier will stay to the south here. Valera falls from Consequences. There's 2 minutes and 3 seconds left. York is seen. X-Soldier and Akula will focus on him as he's going to move closer to Baby Halo to get the reset.
He has to. That tank is too small and too well covered to deal with now. Now it is. Az moves in and smashes it, but Yurkamolo had to expose himself so much he should go down momentarily. But luckily a shell destined for him does not connect, but finally Akula is able to get the kill.
And the amount of damage taken from RUlette in order to stop that flag cap is a bit outstanding when it comes to who's left for RUlette. Akula and X-Soldier are now going to pin themselves in between Master Putin and anybody that can help, and they're going to move quickly to do so.
And now Game is Rigged is going to attempt to escape. He's got to play this one tight. He can't afford to put too much distance between him and some cover, but he has to go into the open, and there he goes.
Game is Rigged and Master Putin now fall. 2 tanks remaining for RUlette on the defense with 1 minute and 12 seconds left to go. The number of tanks still left alive for RUlette is 5, plenty to put on the flag cap and defend it.
But Vacuum Loves Tafa is hanging out in the west. Consequences coming to deal with him, or at least distract him from an angle he does not see. And having not spotted that opponent, he moves out into the open to try and stop the cap. And Yurkamolo, sorry, Az will have to come and stop the cap. There's no way Vacuum's going to be able to do this.
Vacuum is getting annihilated. He's destroyed. 9 seconds left for the base capture. Az is too far away to brawl, and he's going to have to rely on a long-range shot anytime he gets it. But still, he needs to land another one in order to continue the reset, and he can't get it. A nice attempt coming from RUlette to hold on, but RUlette destroys all the remaining tanks, and they put a point on the board in Battle 2.
Nice. That's a great way to start this one. RUlette, I didn't feel super confident in them that time. I think that it was maybe over-aggression by some of the light tanks from RUlette who were playing kind of solo, a little lone wolfing it on the flanks.
Definitely.
Game is Rigged is out there trying to do what he can. Yurkamolo runs into the backfield, and Az moves in from the front all at the same time. It's too much for them to focus fire, but RUlette still comes out ahead in this. They're able to deal more damage and take less in return. So RUlette, while they did manage to defend for a while, didn't have a very organized defense. It felt chaotic.
It felt singular, and everybody was fighting kind of a different battle.
And they did end up kind of coming together at times, but that was, I think, more of a subject of their fighting the same bad men, you know.
Fighting the same bad men?
They're fighting the same bad men. So, of course, you're going to get a crossfire here and there. Yeah. So I don't know if they're pubbing it, but their strategies appear to rely very much on individual play.
As I mentioned in the post-game analysis for battle number 1, this is where the switch is going to happen. So when their minds are going, oh, in RUlette's minds, we just lost this defense. Now we're switching to attack. Momentum have shifted on 2 levels, one a victory and also having to become the aggressors. Now they try to look for, okay, how do we break through this team? Where are they going to line up their tanks? Where are they going to focus on? Are they going to push a little bit further out from the village? Are they going to use the village as more defense? Or are they going to use the hillside on the west and use that long range to cover the flag to the south? We don't know. We look forward to what's going to happen in battle number 3 here between RUlette and RUlette. What do we have for tanks?
All right, RUlette is going to bring something we haven't seen them do before, and AMX 5100, a single IS-3, Pershing, Charioteer, RU-251, T-29, and AMX 1375.
Really?
Yeah. They're bringing a 1375 instead of an M41 Walker Bulldog, which, again, another first in this match for my experience with this format. These are tanks that are not often brought. I think generally the opinion is that the Charioteer, while fast, mobile, is not quite as good as a Waffentrager for many reasons, and then
look at this. The defenders have seen York, and they're going to take a shot, and they hit. They know that all of RUlette are inside of the forest, and they land another shot against Vacuum here. Consequences get hit from Toplum, so now it's going to be a revolutionary war-style type of engagement here in the open fields from the forest into RUlette and RUlette's position. Az takes a hit for 237. And now all of RUlette, except for Baby Halo, will be close enough to engage against RUlette here.
And if you look at the hit points right now, it's still in the favor of RUlette. They brought a heavier, more healthy lineup. But if RUlette is able to continue dealing damage, which now they're starting to take damage in return, this will start becoming trades in favor of RUlette. A team that hits harder, and in this long, drawn-out fight where they can play the cover game, peeking out only when they're loaded, it's going to go to RUlette.
Nice shot into Valera coming from Aggressor, but Soldier gets hit for 369. They know he's low. RUlette knows he's low.
But here's the right move. RUlette is going to surround their opponent, and Baby Halo from the north invading Consequences from the south. RUlette will have to back off and attempt to make some kind of move, because once you're surrounded, you find a direction and you attack.
First tank down is fight breast cancer for RUlette.
And it looks like Game is Rigged, moving out with his 5100 onto the flank. Will begin trying to put some crossfire onto tanks that are trying to fire at RUlette tanks in the Magical Forest. Just have to find a little bit of spotting, and Game is Rigged can take someone down. That could be the point where RUlette escapes and then begins getting momentum against RUlette, who are very spread out. And their consequences, Akula invade.
Takes down Az here. More shots fired. Great crossfire coming from both teams for quick instances when they're trying to find tanks either scouted or guessing where they're at, anticipating the aiming, leading the target.
And now Toplim on the flank with his 1375 is managed to connect. One more, and he does take down Consequences. Good play in the 1375. It's just a slower 1390 from what we're used to. It doesn't hit quite as hard. Still effective.
Tier 7?
Tier 7.
Tier 7. Aggressor, ex-soldier invade, and Akula.
Now Toplim's going to move further onto the flank. Yurkamolo coming to take his place as RUlette starts to spread out more and more as tanks go down from I Love Lamp, meaning they have more resources to kind of spread out and begin pressuring areas that I Love Lamp cannot defend.
Game is rigged, slowly moving up here. Akula got one shot off of him.
Now Putin up and over, trying to play the hull down game. He's going to look for Aggressor, I believe. Or shift towards ex-soldier. Yes, he is. And that's a connection. Nice shot. Very difficult to pen a 110 from the front when you can't quite see the armor clearly, because he can shift it around just slightly and kind of throw that angle off.
Ooh, bounce shot off ex-soldier. 3 minutes, 20 seconds.
Oh, and then sniping from the south. Look at Toplim's position. 1375 has an almost clear shot up towards Aggressor. If Aggressor moves over the tiny, tiny hill protecting him, this little road protecting him and ex-soldier, then they will begin taking fire from Toplim and from Yurkamolo.
Nice shot coming from Valera. Very heads-up play as soon as Aggressor was spotted. Master Putin is the only tank that is seen, and he disappears into the magical forest. Not before taking a shot for 152. More shots now coming from a different angle towards Aggressor and ex-soldier. They hear it, they see it, and they adjust accordingly. RUlette starting to lose time here as the attackers, 2 minutes and 35 seconds. They have over 800, or just under 800 hit points over I Love Lamp.
And it seems like it's so much more with the number of tanks alive for RUlette. Now, they're going to be able to pressure the cap, and they have to shift out of their positions that were in the magical forest. This is a surprisingly long battle for something that's been so constantly tense between these two teams.
For tanks to be so close together from both sides as well. Game is rigged, takes down Baby Halo. There goes the eyes and ears to the north. 2 minutes left.
He just popped out for a moment, and everyone unloaded on him. Now Aggressor and ex-soldier trying.
Aggressor hit for 256.
Why isn't Game Rigged firing at them? That was odd.
There goes Toplim from Invade. York could see Invade from that distance, and he does fire and gets the shot and the kill. Nice hit by York. Aggressor, ex-soldier, and Akula still dancing around the magical forest here, backing up a little bit. They know RUlette has to push forward. They have to get the kills or go towards the flag cap. And so they're on the retreat. Nice shot from Akula on the move backwards, but the return fire lands, and I Love Lamp now moves away from the forest.
And now we've got Cap. Valera Desolator from the south is going to be just taking care of that. Game is rigged. Moving forward is a very soft target, but he has 4 shells left, and that's plenty to take down Aggressor and ex-soldier, barring any unfortunate bounces for him. But he does have support. Vacuum is here.
38 seconds left on that flag cap. RUlette does not want to take any chances with these two tanks, but they're allowing them to focus. Oh, nice shot coming from York to set up the flank, but Akula was ready for him. Game is rigged, takes down Aggressor. Vacuum takes down ex-soldier. 25 seconds left. Akula wants to get a reset, and if he does so and stays alive, no matter how many tanks are still left alive for RUlette, it will be a victory for I Love Lamp. They fire back towards Akula, who is loaded. He fires. No connection.
There's a few small areas where shots could come in on him, but now that he's not spotted, he's going to be able to move a little bit closer.
Game is rigged, trying to head him off. 6 seconds left on the flag cap.
He doesn't have an angle on them yet.
Game is rigged. Hits. He gets hit for 244. Akula, however, can't move in, waiting on confirmation for the base capture, and that's it. Akula does take down Game is rigged, but the base has been captured, and that will be a victory for RUlette as they will lead 2-1 in this series.
Not bad. That was a situation in which you get to see both teams take each other on. Strategy falls completely apart right at the beginning too, and then you see them both try to work with the situation to solve this problem of, well, we can't really leave, and they can't really leave, so we're stuck here, and that's awkward.
And well, it's awkward, but you have to make the most of it in this scenario. And both teams did that. That's why it was not necessarily a standoff, but very small micro calculations of where to find the openings against these tanks. And it was a slow breakdown of hit points over and over again until RUlette had the advantage.
I was surprised that RUlette didn't get a better lead early on, though, because they were the first ones to send a flank up to the north and attempt to find an angle in which they could fire on their opponent without any cover. They didn't find that success, though, and that was a little bit worrying. I think it came down to a lack of spotting from the front, just enough different distance so you don't have that 50 meters. You have to peek out, really expose yourself to get that spotting and try and get some damage, but you do take damage for that.
This is where the mind games start to set in for both teams, though, as they both have had a shot, kind of near the forest. Are they overutilizing the forest? Are they underutilizing the forest? And those type of thoughts and decision-making now at the beginning of leading into the next battles, they have 60 seconds to decide their tanks, I'm sure is being discussed in the team comms between the two. And I really like seeing how teams will adjust, especially after a loss on this map, because this is the newest map to our map pool.
You're right. It is good, but it's been in the game for so long that most players are very familiar with it. And so many strategies come from you already know the map that well.
Moving on to battle number 4, the final battle on Murovanka between these two teams. RUlette does lead 2-1 against RUlette. What do we have for tanks, Randall?
Looks like we've got another crazy lineup. 5100 IS-3, Pershing 2 RU-251s instead of that Charioteer. Looks like it didn't perform nearly as well. A T-29 and that 1375 yet again. On the other side, Lampas opted for 2 IS-3s, a 1390, 3 RU-251s, and a 5916, played by Baby Halo. So 5916 versus 1375. The 1375 should come out ahead, but it will not be quite as one-sided as those 1390 fights. And that's, oh wow, that's an aggressive opening. Invade leading the way, Akula and Consequences with him.
Yes.
And they've spotted your Komolo. That's it, though. They've only spotted your Komolo. Everyone else is completely hidden.
If they start associating some of these trees falling, that's more than just one tank. That's more than just York.
And Fight Breast Cancer takes the first bit of damage, regretting, I think, being exactly where he was in the open. This is a very exposed location.
And a bounce off that soldier coming from RUlette.
And a flank as well coming from RUlette in the south top limb is moving in faster this time than last time in his 1375 to try and put that crossfire on. But RUlette might recognize what they have or recognize that they need to make a real tactical move, and they'll move north, possibly leaving top limb behind.
A couple more shots fired into the forest. Akula with a snapshot, along with Invade. We're targeted towards game is rigged.
Top limb is spotted, has to retreat for a little bit. That might be the indication to RUlette that there is the possibility that they could make something happen up north.
X-Soldier hit for 283. 2 shots towards X, does not connect.
Your Komolo in the north is out in the open, has no cover, is spotted, could start taking fire from RUlette. If they volley into him, he might be the first to go down. There's one for 225. And
X-Soldier hit for 259.
And he's able to back down for a little bit, sorry. While there is still more damage being traded, number of tanks from RUlette spotted, whereas RUlette, it's very inconsistent with Fight Breast Cancer just about going dark and giving options for RUlette to make a flank happen.
Yeah, the setup coming from RUlette, though, I like, but they can't overstep their bounds of this worked once, so it can work twice kind of thing. They still need to maintain flexibility inside this magical forest.
I agree. I think the answer for RUlette is to jump on top limb and take care of that 1375 before he can continue being some kind of a nuisance.
Get the sure kill.
Yes,
kind of
exactly. It's a lower tank. It doesn't have as many hit points. You can throw an RU-251 against it and it should win.
Akula hit for 227.
But they are getting headway against Akula. Akula can't really leave safely.
Aggressor now hit for 229. RUlette are really landing these very crucial shots here to weaken the defenders.
Yeah, and because of that, because of all of that damage being dealt to RUlette, it's going to start stacking up little by little, and that allows for RUlette to have more and more freedom with some of their light tanks. They're sending Valera now to the south because they realize we can spare that many hit points here. We only have to deal so much damage, and we can begin kind of being more liberal with our resources.
Yeah. Break off coming from the defenders.
And here's the Cap pressure. Fight Breast Cancer is spotted. Toplum moves on to Cap, but he may start taking fire as he is spotted. Although he takes 333, Fight Breast Cancer might have to back off.
Yeah, a little bit of bait coming from RUlette, wanting tanks to engage against Toplum. Master takes a hit for 393. So these I Love Lamp tanks are not going to go down without a fight just outside of this forest. They're going to continue to...
Yurkamolo taking on Baby Halo, and he will go down to Consequences in the far north, opening up that flank. But at the same time, sorry to interrupt, Josh.
No, it's okay.
We have Vacuum in the IS-3 moving to the south. This is showing us RUlette is going to start taking control of that southeast cap.
The way these teams are spread out, you and I have to look at different sections of the battlefield. I'm focusing more on the I Love Lamp defensive position outside the Magical Forest while you're taking a look at the south.
Yeah, taking a look at all the flanks. Like those, I think, are where a lot of our losses and gains are going to be seen. For example, with Yurkamolo.
Fight Breast Cancer hit for 211.
Exactly, on the flank as well. If he goes down, then you have no real control aside from that one tiny area in the middle of the map, which does not give you much. It does not afford you many advantages.
Valera continues to be punished, but fighting back towards Fight Breast Cancer. Valera's low. Another hit from up top. 666 in that volley. He's in trouble, but he's going to fall back, hopefully behind some cover. That camouflage will maybe disguise his retreat, but Valera fights back as he takes down Fight Breast Cancer.
And now he's in the tiniest little defilade. A shell could come in, but as all the way in the northeast, the one holding off the Magical Forest is almost a one-shot, 265 hit points. I'm expecting I Love Lamp to try and take him out first, but they need to be wary of the support fire that's waiting for them.
For 800 hit points, divides RUlette versus I Love Lamp. RUlette has the, well, they had the advantage. They lose another tank, though. But Aggressor's moving in. He's taking way too much damage to be effective. Cannot get the reset. They want Invade to come next. They're waiting for it. Valera misses a shot against him, and Invade misses a shot against Toplum. Vacuum knows it. So does Valera. Toplum gets hit, though, and Invade is able to stay alive.
In the meantime, game is rigged, tracked in the open for just a moment, is able to return fire on Akula. Akula's having trouble making connections, and there a combo shot onto Baby Halo takes him down as well. Now Akula's getting those connections. This 5100 is going to be whittled down slowly. Another 2 shells should take him down, and Putin is forced to begin an engagement to get rid of
you have this. Just turn the corner. You got it. There you go. He gets the kill against Invade. Barely any hit points left on that tank as Vacuum gets tracked from Akula. 58 seconds left. Not a lot of time for RUlette to stay in one place. They've got to move and chase these tanks or get all their tanks on top of the flag cap.
And Putin should not be able to win the fight against X-Soldier unless this is a crazy bounce. X-Soldier reloaded in a moment. And we've got a little bit of crazy motion, but Putin does get the reload because I think the driver was down for that IS-3. That was Aggressor.
Consequences from a distance, looking for any open shot he can get with his shells here, but he's going to move away from the flag cap, and now multiple tanks are on top. I don't know if RUlette can do this. They took way too long to aggress here. They were winning the firefight, but time management is so key for all these tankers to really understand and utilize. Even Simp was having trouble over multiple seasons with time management.
Yeah,
One more second left.
Is more of a result of some craziness.
Yes, well, I Love Lamp successfully defends, tying up the series 2-2. And yeah, definitely was a lot of craziness and that divisive fire of a number of tanks in one section with the cross shots and crossfire. And another section where the flank gets set up and they're not prepared for that flank. And that's where you would see both teams utilize that.
Yeah, just very simple tactics that when you execute well, and if you really pay attention to your angles, you're able to get some gains out of it. Of course, if you try and get something too fancy and complicated and intricate, yes, there's some kind of tactics like that exist that can be effective, but for the most part, those flanks, that's what you need to work on. Where to be on the flank specifically. You need to be in a safe position where you can support your allies, but also put some fire on your opponent. And we saw a little bit of that there in the 1375, a little bit of that in the north, but both sides, of course, playing so safe and thinking about how to use these small group tactics well, that you didn't get nearly any snowballing results. you didn't get any of that because both teams were doing a very good job at controlling the battlefield.
And you look at Consequence's push coming across the road and then moving further away from the intended targets and allowing him for a wider berth, a wider sweep to set up another flank on the major danger, which is Toplim's position on the flag cap. Now, when they know that they're moving into this section, Valera is still way far away. Obviously, because he's taking a lot of damage, he's engaging in another tank. It's those singularity type engagements where he's fighting against one tank, then he gets another teammate to help him out.
Yeah, the singular engagements.
Yeah, that teammate's going to take a little bit of damage, but then he helps out somebody else. So RUlette are winning the skirmishes across the map, but they didn't win the battle because the defenders were able to thin them out.
Yeah, and we also have a timeout, I believe, from RUlette.
Yes, or from Isle of Lamb.
Yeah,
from Isle of Lamb, called timeout. They'll have a minute to deliberate during that timeout, then another minute to choose their tanks as we move on to Cliff.
We've got tanks getting chosen already, though. Cliff, I mean, what are the lineups going to be? There's
T-49s, which I love watching. I love seeing these heavy-hitting tanks knock out an M41 Bulldog in one shot or do 300 to 600, sometimes even higher than that, damage to other tanks.
Just one-shotting things. I mostly like it for a very, I think, low-level reason, but kind of like people appreciate the RU-251 at a professional level because of what you're capable of doing with it. But with the T-49, it's like I like watching explosions. Explosions so pretty.
It's our basic natures that we like to watch, but it's a different type of play in a sense of you have to move and you have to get in really close in order for it to be the most effective. And Cliff caters to that.
And even if you get that close, you still have a decent chance of missing.
Oh, yeah. The reticle is so huge when you play the game. I remember the first time I played it, and I put all the equipment, everything that I needed in order to reduce the reticle size, and I go, no way, there's something wrong. It's not this big.
Did I forget the vertical stabilizer?
Yeah.
Do I have a 50% crew?
Yeah. No, it's definitely that big. Here we go. Battle number 5 between these two teams. What do we have for tanks?
All right, so this is a cool lineup. 2 1390s, RU-251, 3 T-49s, and a 59-16 for RUlette, who are the defenders. On the attack, 1390, 3 RU-251s, a single everybody T-49, and 2 VK 30-02Ds. The 30-02Ds have become more and more popular because of, I think, their damage capabilities, their hit points, their mobility, their good balance at their tier, and no one ever pays attention to them because I feel like German tanks are not as popular in general. Like the Tiger II just doesn't get a lot of respect because of playstyle.
Just because of the tech tree and where they fit around the tier 8s.
But a lot of people forget about all those VKs because they have very similar names. And they look towards other more iconic tanks. Like the 1390 is something
of course
we've seen plenty of, and then we also get to see tanks like the 5916, which imitates much of the T54 line and all variants of that. IS3s, 5100s, all things that most people who are tank enthusiasts know. But I think we all forget about the VKs for the most part.
Well, I remember when somebody brought one and you broke. It broke you when they brought a VK. Shot out, coming from one of the T-49s, does not connect.
I just don't think VKs are the best option, at least in the old meta. The old format, VKs didn't make a lot of sense to me.
You would think you can bring something else in this slot. Why are you bringing this tank? Well, everything has changed to 7x54, and it feels like we've been playing this format for a long time already, even though we're in week 6. Aggressor is going to peek around the rocks, looking for an open target against RUlette. Sees nothing, falls back. Shot from York does not connect anywhere, and 2 tanks are spotted on both sides. York, and game is rigged for RUlette, and now 3 tanks, Aggressor, Akula, and formerly Consequences. He's no longer spotted now.
All right, and just while I have a moment, an update, Table versus Victoria's Secret. It's a 3-2 right now in favor of Table. Victoria's Secret has come back from a 3-0 to now a 3-2. We'll be sure to get you guys more updates.
Victoria's Secret sure showing a lot of spirit and a lot of fight, I'm sure, in that series against Simply Irresistible. Game is rigged on the reload in the T-49 here from RUlette. Ex-Soldier pushing up slightly in the 251.
Is he trying to see if he can sneak a shell?
I think so, if he's able to time this correctly, but it's not in time in order to engage against Game is Rigged. Plus, he'd be a little bit too exposed to the rest of his teammates.
I think that's just too risky. I wouldn't want to play a hold-down game against a T-49 and an RU. He has better gun depression, and he hits a lot harder. So don't try and get in a fist fight with someone who hits way harder than you, and you know it, and you don't really have the opportunity to do something sneaky.
Not a smart thing to do.
No.
Akula is able to dodge one shot from Master Putin. And no connections on either side here on Cliff in a tied-up series. Kula pushes towards the lighthouse.
If he gets the high ground, they could make something happen with that. But
definitely, but look at RUlette. Look at this eastern shift happening from their tanks.
I think they're doing that in order to try to get rid of these other T-49s. They're so dangerous. Because if you walk around the corner, you could find yourself looking at 2 T-49s, and instantly you lose 2 of your light tanks in a single shot. Now, what's great about RUlette's understanding of their opponent is they've predicted this east side motion and have put Toplum and Valera on that corner. They're getting ready for it, and with them, you have even more tanks ready to fire.
T-49 cannon blast do not connect, but the first connection finally happens from Fight Breast Cancer. Game is Rigged did get peppered a little bit earlier on.
They may have just gotten a little too aggressive. If RUlette follows this up with enough focus fire and gets some track shots, they might be able to take down one of these T-49s. But they are quickly losing time, and now, okay. Toplum and Valera have been able to escape, supporting them. Backham, Yerkomolo.
Oh, Akula finally connects, takes down Oz with that T-49, and now you've witnessed the power of that 152mm cannon.
And he has the high ground. He has every advantage, firing down into the top of light tanks. No armor at all. And this will be a kill every time he's loaded, which he is now.
Game is Rigged, hit on the side for 252. He's getting lit up as Ex-Soldier and Aggressor pop up on the other side. Baby Halo trying to hold as long as he can before he falls, but Yerk is the executioner against Baby Halo. Ex-Soldier takes down Valera, and Aggressor takes a big shot to the side for 720. These T-49s are really hammering the tanks that they can land a shot against. But Fight Breast Cancer able to pepper a little bit of Toplum, and he falls. Vacuum dancing back and forth at X Consequences, and York trying to stay alive with these 2 tanks from RUlette, but now 2 tanks remain from the team that is defending. And he falls towards the water, and Vacuum dies from the push from Fight Breast Cancer. 1 tank remains, Master Putin, with 1 minute and 33 seconds. Master is targeted, gets hit from up above. Akula able to land that shot. Or somebody from a distance was able to, at least. Not Akula. Could not have been Akula here.
Nah,
he's still fully loaded.
They've got it. They just get to take the cap now. They wanted to make sure, of course, that you screen it, make sure they can't come back.
Yeah.
But Master Putin's been a good distance away from the rest of the fighting force for long enough that I think they can cover the area, clear it, and make sure he's not going to be able to get back safely as he starts taking fire. 207, 416.
Another shot. Akula's going to go for the damage. Can't get it. He misses. And Master Putin has plenty of open shots against his T-49 as Akula's waiting for the reload.
Oh, he gets a connection with Consequences, but that's not going to matter. He catches fire.
Big explosion against that remaining tank as RUlette, as the attackers take the victory and the lead against RUlette.
And it's surprising because I thought T-49s would equal victory. Like, T-49s are directly proportional to your chances to win.
I used to think the same thing about the T-32, Randall.
I mean, T-49s make really cool explosions.
They do.
Therefore, I like it, which means it must be good. And that must mean they're going to win.
To me, every time a T-49 fires, it sounds like an actual cannon from the Revolutionary War or Civil War days firing. It's that loud.
I mean, we've heard plenty of cannons in our time here, so a lot of these are taken from real recordings. You get a lot of those.
Push coming from Fight Breast Cancer.
Like, have you heard the Hellcat engine?
Yeah.
It's pretty spot on.
Yeah, I mean, the sound engineering and recording coming from Wargaming is phenomenal to recapture the realism of these different tanks as much as they can. But the realism of the tactics coming from RUlette, I don't know if that was as good as it could have been looking at how they reacted.
That was not real. That was a little bit of imagination.
I think so, too. I think they imagined they were going to land some of these shots, and they did not. And that's
Yeah.
where it started to really turn around in favor of I Love Lamp.
Yeah, I think it was that T-49s are just not reliable enough. And you saw shells connect and deal very much.
Well, they're not reliable from a distance, but...
No, they're not reliable in general.
Okay.
Even up close, I've missed shells when I felt like I was point blank. I thought I was going to have the shot.
I just love it because it adds more of the tension of it's more of a long three-point shot from a distance, right?
Hail Mary.
But when you're close, it's more of closing your eyes, but you know it's there, and you shoot towards it. Couple more seconds left in battle number 6 between RUlette and I Love Lamp as we move on Cliff still. I Love Lamp has the lead, 3-2. What do we have for tanks?
All right, we've got it scaled back a little bit here, guys. RUlette's not going to bring 3 T-49s. It's only 2 this time. So I think they overdid it on the T-49s last time. Maybe just 2. They'll have 2 RU-251s, 2 1390s, 5916. Lamp still bringing those VK30-2Ds, and then 3 RU-251s and an AMX 1390.
Consequences and Invade now moving in a split here from the majority of I Love Lamp, as Akula is going to be leading the majority of his team into the center section.
And now game is rigged. We'll play the T-49 in the middle. Valera playing a cross section.
Ooh, Akula hit for 879.
I like it. I like that angle. That's something that we didn't get to see a lot this season utilized properly. It used to be a place for a Pershing or a T-69. We saw, I think, Fnatic in the past use it a lot. And now we are getting to see T-49s take this position.
As Akula is going to hang on to that position, we see movement towards the east, this time coming from I Love Lamp.
A bit of a faster flank. Instead of waiting so long that your enemy figures it out, let's try and catch him off guard. But if you look at the positioning of RUlette, it's such that we might be looking at them walking into a crossfire.
Yeah, very possible.
It depends if everyone turns guns or not. Games Rigged might stay forward, Yokomolo might stay forward. And with Consequences and Invade on the west flank, this eastern flank means that RUlette could just fall back and fold in on that group.
Oh, shot from Aggressor will reveal their position. And they're taking down the cover. They're hitting Yerk.
He's in cover now. He's safe. He doesn't have really anywhere for fire to come in on him except Akula from above, which will take a moment. Game is Rigged is covering that angle down.
Bounce off Baby Halo from Bakun's position here, and they continue to hit Yerk and his teammate Toplum, and Akula shuts down Toplum from up above in the T-49, and now RUlette, the defenders, will move into the center to engage while 3 tanks are still on the fly cap. They'll leave to push up against RUlette.
And now they're trying to go for those healthier, well-armored tanks. Light tanks are coming to support, though. I Love Lamp may be able to grab momentum back if we don't see RUlette get enough kills onto Invading Consequences. Because these tanks are still alive, I'm surprised if I Love Lamp isn't able to just roll over everything.
Bakun trying to escape along with Master Putin from the onslaught of I Love Lamp in the center. Bakun cannot escape, and now RUlette is on the back foot as they try to fire back to this movement from the attackers here. Game is Rigged, gets annihilated from up above.
And now Az tries to move in, but that's not gonna work at all.
I Love Lamp, 4 tanks remaining compared to RUlette's 2.
Now it's a 1390 and a T-49 against 3 RU-251s and a single 1890.
Well, Master Putin's going to land 1 shot to fight breast cancer. Fight breast is going to continue to push forward here. And X-Soldier misses a shot, and Master Putin takes down X-Soldier. Master Putin now focuses on fight breast cancer, but he is out of shells, and the RU-251 with a consistent fire is ready to clean this up.
Yep, now Baby Hilo should be able to finish off Valera on the other side. Valera was not able to deal all that much damage, and so he goes down easy.
And Fight Breast Cancer does some ram damage to Master Putin. He has the reload and the shot and the kill. I Love Lamp is up 4-2 against RUlette in a surprising and effective comeback. But they still have 1 battle to win to secure the victory.
I think the big mistake by RUlette is that they recognized that there was an overmatch in the south on their opponent's starting area of the cliff. But the flank and the majority of your softer enemies were coming in from the east on the flank, which I would have said meet the east and deal with that problem while holding on the middle with your T-49. But RUlette chose the other of two options and had to cross, I think, a larger distance to begin their engagement, allowing for the light tanks of RUlette to just catch up. They're a fast, light group, able to rejoin that fight because it's all going to be around one section of the map. It takes them a few seconds, and they're able to take that and just annihilate what few tanks are left behind after the scrap.
Well, defending now will be RUlette, who has the lead, and so RUlette has again an uphill climb into this scenario
into
again.
the very middle of the map.
Yeah, and it's kind of a little bit funny on the wordplay, the uphill climb and on cliff, and how a lot of the engagements are happening uphill.
Exactly.
It wasn't intentional.
That had to have been intentional. There's no option.
It's ingrained in me now.
You're
I can't even control it. I can't even control the puns.
They're unstoppable.
Yes, they are in a sense. I think Dan on Tuesday was trying to bring a little bit more.
I try and avoid being too punny.
Too cliche. Yeah.
I want to do synonyms of those words.
That's a good challenge.
I feel like that's right.
It's a good challenge, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a hidden pun. It's like that's a synonym of the pun.
So it's the next level, a punception, we'll call it, as we move into battle.
Don't do that.
Battle number 6, I believe, between these two teams. RUlette versus RUlette on Cliff. Battle number 7, actually. Because RUlette is up 4-2 against RUlette. What do we have for tanks, Randall?
A little bit of a change-up, actually. This is 2 T-69s, 2 1390s, 2 RU-251s, and a 5916 for RUlette. So dropping the T-49 altogether. What happened to tradition, RUlette? There was tradition.
When tradition gets in the way of progress, that's when it has to be considered to be removed.
Tradition.
Great musical, great reference.
Exactly.
Consequences. Waiting for the reload. He's going to be heading up the first push into the middle. And look at this, RUlette not going for the center section, going for a one-line push and then moving up into the easier hillside compared to what the map was like before it was changed about a season and a half ago.
Yeah, it's a very recent change, but the whole map has been just slightly altered to the point where it's I like the little improvements and the way they improved the route.
Invade has been lit up, 238 in that connection.
Yep, he is just trying to get out right now, and the response from RUlette is very passive. They're not trying to do anything about the fire coming in at Invade. Invade's just expected to leave and just... I don't know. I thought that maybe RUlette would do something.
Yeah, you would think they would continue the momentum to get the middle control of the map, but not the case right now, because that donut allows for enough cover to at least hug that section. Or I mean the donut, I mean the rock in the Echo Foxtrot section of the map around the 3-4 line.
Yeah, the donut. Call it the donut.
That's what we call it here. But for some new viewers that are not familiar with it, but it's this section right here, as you'll see in our picture-in-picture. Ex-Soldier is covering that section as Aggressor and Invader to the north, and Toplum, who took a shot, is very far north as well.
Yeah, it's going to be very simple kind of play around with the north, and I think eventually you'll see crossfire from RUlette, but this is a strategy which I think puts RUlette at a disadvantage. They can try and pressure the north, take down Invade maybe.
Aggressor fires towards Az. And there's 3 connections against Az as he pushes up against Invade, taking significant damage here.
That looked like an artillery shell, I thought. But no, that's the T-49 firing from the middle of the map.
Yeah.
Almost connecting with Az. And now Invade is going to start taking fire, but there are no serious connections yet. I'm waiting for one to come in, leading the target just a little bit too much.
Aggressor in his T-49 looking for an opening against Az or Toplum as Invade leaves his... not really entrenched position, but at least scouting position of what's happening on the one line as more fire is heading towards his way. And Consequences is going to move his tank to maybe have a close quarter engagement around the corner against RUlette here.
Now, from RUlette, they're actually going to do something with an odd timing, not intended, I think. And that is as Consequences comes around the north, they seem to be pushing now across the middle. which they'll find X-Soldier looking to the north, exposed out of cover, and this could be the point where they stop and take him down. X-Soldier does get into some cover, and there is a little bit of a response from that X Consequences from the flank.
Yeah, Consequences able to land a couple hits here, but from behind, there's one tank that was ready for him. But the amount of damage that RUlette is suffering here is very significant as we will continue to move. Aggressor takes down York, and that's going to be a huge, huge boon for RUlette here.
Yeah, it's going to be great for them. They have so much control, and now the RUlette is split, unable to support the north. Those guys are cut off. Invade can try and deal with them alone. There's now an overmatch in favor of RUlette. Elsewhere on the map, towards the middle, where Aggressor, Soldier, Baby Halo, Fight Burst Cancer, and Akula can just start taking them down. Vacuum is at very low, and 580 damage into Valera. He's not going to be able to stay around here anymore. Valera
hit from up above. Akula did significant damage, and to hold the line for this long, Baby Halo gets the kill. RUlette's in a great position defensively. All of the action must fall on RUlette as the attackers, and they lose another tank. Vacuum's gone.
And as in the north takes down Invade.
Big shot from Akula for 538 against Game is Rigged, but does not destroy the tank. Master Putin pushes up, taking significant hits here.
Baby Halo moves in on Master Putin, and you see him go down.
Great tag team effort by Baby Halo and Fight Breast Cancer here against Master Putin. Game is Rigged, goes down, and one tank remains. As to the north, the closest tank to the flat cap to the north against the defenders on his own.
He is a one-shot 226 at over 500 meters from most opponents. Aggressor does come down from his hill in order to find
Breast Cancer looking for the shot. Long range, gets it. Beautiful shot coming from Fight Breast Cancer, and that's it. RUlette closes the series 5-2 against RUlette.
Not bad. RUlette coming back, I guess, doesn't seem to be much different from where they were earlier in the season. They still have improved. They've gotten their practice in, but there's nothing I'm seeing that surprised me. So I think that their time away from the league may not have helped them as much as other teams' time playing during the regular season.
Well, specifically for RUlette, I'm going to have to agree with you because this is a team that started to turn things around as well, in the sense of they are new to the Gold League, they're new to facing these Gold League teams, and they are becoming more acclimated.
Exactly.
RUlette, I don't think was anticipating the amount of acclimation that RUlette has gone through.
Precisely. Like it's kind of a race in a way to figure out the format this season. It's like Simp leads the way. We've got the Cunninghams staying very close behind them, and then this group, much like have you run a marathon or anything before? There's always those few guys right out in front who are the professional runners.
Yeah.
Everyone else is trying to get there, but it's so hard to keep up with that guy. His genes. Where is he from? How does he get legs like that? So it's like that's Simp and Cunningham's where RUlette and these guys are training, but RUlette had to go overseas, and well, I think they may not have as much momentum right now.
Not yet, but they're back, they're home, and they're ready to compete. A loss tonight is not going to fully define, I think, the rest of their career this season.
So you don't think this is indicative of where they stand right now relative to everyone else?
Well, after the matches happen this weekend,
yes,
I think that's going to be a better picture painted for RUlette.
Okay.
Because they still have to face Cunninghams, they have to face another team as well. I think it's 3 matches total. They'll
have to face 3 matches,
and then we'll know then exactly where they're going to stand.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
But a loss against RUlette here in the third matchup. We have the final matchup of Elevate versus Simple Tankers after this. Don't go anywhere.